I'll tell you something that may feel like a slap from destiny itself. A simple, ordinary item you touch every single day may be quietly freezing your financial life. And the strangest part is that you've carried it for so long that you no longer notice its weight, its silence, its slow erosion of your momentum. When I first understood this through an ancient Jewish teaching, I felt a kind of shiver, as if someone had pulled a curtain from in front of my eyes. Suddenly, what I had been calling bad luck or a rough phase revealed itself as something far more precise, almost surgical, a blockage I had created without realizing it. And there's a risk here, a real one. If you ignore this, your finances may continue sinking in small, almost invisible increments. Those kinds of losses that don't scream, but gnaw. Yet, if you understand it, if you dare to look at what this object represents, you may unlock a shift that unfolds over the next 72 hours in ways you didn't expect. That's the power of symbols in Jewish wisdom. They widen or narrow the flow of Shefa, the spiritual abundance that shapes the physical. But this isn't just mysticism. Our sages taught that every object we touch becomes part of our energetic language. That's why the simplest daily items sometimes hold the loudest spiritual echoes. And this particular item, this one you carry in your pocket, bag, or hand, may be repeating a message to the universe that contradicts everything you say you want. Before we go deeper, I want you to do something that isn't symbolic only. It's a declaration. Write in the comments, "I am ready to release what blocks my abundance." There's a reason for this. In Yiddish tradition, a written word is a doorway. When you write something, you don't just express intention, you anchor it in the world of action, the world where change actually takes shape. Consider it your first step, your public commitment to letting go of what has quietly held you back. And now, allow me to guide you into the heart of this teaching. For generations, in my family and in many others, we were taught that prosperity doesn't begin with earning. It begins with clearing space, clearing energy, clearing truth. The object I'm about to reveal is a mirror, and like every mirror, it shows more than the surface. It shows what you've been carrying within you, beliefs, fears, forgotten fragments of your past self. You may think you know what stagnates your finances. You may believe it's external circumstances, timing, market conditions, or even fate. But what if the real cause has been in your hands every day? What if the blockage is physical, symbolic, and psychological at once? Let me show you how this works. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and that's when transformation begins. There is a reason that ancient sages spoke of prosperity not as luck nor as effort alone, but as a dance between the seen and unseen. In Jewish wisdom, everything begins with the idea of the kli, the vessel. A vessel is not just a container, it is a spiritual structure capable of receiving, holding, and channeling abundance. And just as water cannot flow into a cracked cup or a cup filled with mud, financial energy cannot settle into a life whose vessels are blocked, fragmented, or overflowing with what no longer serves. This is where the teaching deepens. Prosperity in our tradition is understood through the lens of Shefa, the divine flow. It moves like a river, always available, always generous, always seeking a path. Yet a river cannot fill a vessel turned upside down, nor can it bless a vessel already stuffed with remnants of yesterday's stories. That is why the sages warned us that stagnation often begins with tiny, unnoticed decisions. What we allow to accumulate, what we avoid confronting, what we carry simply because we always have. And this brings us closer, gently but inevitably, to the object we began speaking about. Because this item is not just physical, it is a silent recorder of your relationship with money. It is the place where your financial energy pauses before moving again. It is the intersection between your intentions and your habits. In Jewish thought, physical objects become spiritual metaphors, and metaphors become teachers. This one teaches more than most. Think of how many times you have touched it without awareness. Think of how many emotional states, stress, hope, fear, gratitude have passed through your fingertips into it. Think of how often it has held not only money, but memories of transactions, decisions, and consequences. Think of how many times you have touched it without awareness. Think of how many emotional states, stress, hope, fear, gratitude have passed through your fingertips into it. Think of how often it has held not only money, but memories of transactions, decisions, and consequences. A vessel that carries the imprint of everything you've been through financially cannot help but shape what comes next. That is why it matters. That is why the sages paid attention to the smallest details of daily life, because they understood that the spiritual world speaks primarily through the ordinary. And yet, here lies the contradiction. Most people believe their finances are shaped by big events, a job change, a crisis, an investment, a stroke of luck. But what if the real shift begins in the smallest vessel, the one closest to your body, the one that follows you everywhere and absorbs your patterns like a sponge? I would tell you this much. There are 3 spiritual mistakes tied directly to this item. 3 quiet fractures in the vessel that most people never notice. And the second one, yes, the second is the most dangerous, because it hides beneath a feeling you might mistake for confidence. But before we reach those mistakes, we must first identify the item itself. Only then does the teaching reveal its full power, and only then can the flow begin to move again, cleansing what has been stuck for far too long. The object is your wallet. Simple, ordinary, almost invisible in its familiarity, yet spiritually, it is one of the most revealing vessels you carry. A wallet is more than leather or fabric. A wallet is more than, it is the physical home of your financial life, the resting place of your intentions, your transactions, your hopes, and your anxieties. And in ancient Jewish wisdom, the place where your money sleeps is never just a place. It is a reflection of the inner structure that holds your abundance. Look at your wallet for a moment, not with your eyes, but with your memory. Think of its weight. Think of what it contains. Old receipts curled at the edges, expired cards, random papers you meant to throw away weeks ago, maybe even a ticket stub or a business card from someone you no longer remember. Each of these items is what I call dead weight, objects with no life, no purpose, no future. And spiritually speaking, dead weight blocks flow. It clogs the vessel. It interrupts the shefa trying to move towards you. The sages taught that a vessel must be clean to receive blessing. A wallet filled with useless scraps becomes a symbolic declaration. I am holding on to the past. I am keeping the unnecessary. I am not ready for more. And the universe listens, not with judgment, but with precision. If you hold what is dead, you leave no room for what is alive. I once heard a story, one that stayed with me because it mirrors what so many of us experience. A Jewish merchant, exhausted by years of slow business, went to seek counsel from an elderly rabbi. The rabbi did not ask about the market, nor about his competitors, nor about his strategy. Instead, he asked to see the man's wallet. When the merchant handed it over, the rabbi opened it and gently shook out a pile of old receipts, faded notes, and forgotten fragments. Then he said, "Your livelihood cannot find you because your vessel is full of yesterday." Within 3 days, yes, 3, new opportunities began to appear, small at first, then growing. The merchant swore that cleaning his wallet had somehow cleaned something inside him. And perhaps you feel a subtle sting of recognition right now, because you too may be carrying the remnants of days that no longer belong to you. Papers you haven't looked at in months, proofs of purchases you don't need, memories disguised as clutter. But the consequence is not merely symbolic. Psychologists today explain that clutter drains clarity, reduces motivation, and creates micro-stress that limits decision-making. Spiritually and scientifically, clutter suffocates abundance. And as we move forward, you'll see that the wallet is only the beginning. because the blockage it represents is tied to deeper patterns, older habits, and ancient principles. And one of those principles, taught in the Talmud, reveals why vessels filled with dead weight receive nothing new. There is a principle in the Talmud that echoes like a quiet warning across generations. A vessel already full cannot receive. At first glance, it sounds like common sense, obvious, almost simplistic. But spiritually, it is far more profound. The sages weren't speaking of physical fullness. They were speaking of energetic congestion, of the way we pack our lives with remnants of the past until nothing new can enter. And your wallet, that small companion you carry daily, becomes a living symbol of this truth. In ancient Jewish thought, everything that receives must be prepared to receive. A cup overflowing cannot taste new wine. A barn cluttered with old harvest cannot welcome a new season. And a wallet swollen with dead slips of paper, expired cards, and broken memories becomes a declaration to the divine flow. I have no space. I am holding on to what was. Shefa listens. It always does. It is not withheld. It simply has no doorway through which to enter. When the sages spoke of guarding one's vessels, they were teaching more than organization. They were teaching alignment. A vessel kept in order creates inner order. A vessel cleared invites new beginnings. A vessel respected becomes a magnet for blessing. And the wallet, though small, is intimately tied to your relationship with money itself. Its state whispers your financial truth more loudly than the words you speak. Think of this in practical terms. Every scrap of paper inside your wallet is a tiny story. A coffee you bought hurriedly. A bill you meant to organize. A moment of spending you've forgotten. These scraps accumulate not only physically, but emotionally, representing fragments of incomplete cycles. They are echoes of transactions without closure. And closure, according to Jewish spiritual psychology, is essential for new doors to open. Imagine a cup filled to the brim with stale water. No matter how pure the new water is, it cannot enter without pushing the old out. The same is true for financial blessing. The wallet becomes a metaphor for the soul's readiness. A clean vessel attracts. A crowded vessel repels. Simplicity is not just aesthetic, it is magnetic. So let me ask you gently, where in your life are you saying everything is fine when it truly isn't? Where are you pretending you have space when inwardly you feel the weight of what you've never released? The wallet is only one mirror, but its lesson is universal. Before we move forward, pause and notice what stirs inside you when you think about clearing this vessel. Resistance, relief, avoidance? Each emotion is a map pointing to something deeper than clutter. And as we step into the next truth, you'll see how the blockage tied to this object extends beyond the physical realm. Because the second mistake, the one silently rooted in the psychology of false victory, is even more dangerous than the first, and most people never recognize it until their prosperity has already begun to slip away. The second mistake is subtle, almost seductive, believing you've already won. It happens quietly in moments when you relax your vigilance and assume that progress maintains itself. In Jewish wisdom, complacency is not rest, it is regression. And your wallet once again exposes this truth in a way few people ever notice. Because many of the useless slips of paper inside it aren't there out of neglect alone. They're there because at some point you thought, I'll handle this later. It's fine. I've got it under control. But a vessel left unattended becomes a vessel that slowly collapses. There's an old saying where I grew up. A sleeping crocodile becomes someone's handbag. It may sound humorous, almost playful, but its meaning is razor sharp. The moment you stop moving with purpose, life finds a way to turn your stillness into someone else's gain. The wallet, filled with postponed decisions, is a testament to that stillness. Each ignored receipt whispers a story of delayed action. Each forgotten piece of paper hints at a moment when you assumed progress would continue without your participation. Psychologically, this is deeply significant. Modern neuroscience shows that when we tell ourselves, "I'll take care of it later," the brain registers the task as complete. This creates an illusion of closure that blocks real action. The result is a subtle cognitive stagnation, a softness where clarity should live. Spiritually, the effect is even more immediate. Stagnation is a signal to the universe that you are no longer expanding, no longer opening new space, no longer actively shaping your destiny. Jewish tradition teaches that life rewards movement. Not frantic motion, not exhaustion, but intentional, consistent movement. The kind that says, "I am participating in my blessing." When your wallet gathers layers of neglect, it becomes a symbol of spiritual dormancy. The universe sees that signal and aligns accordingly. Opportunities slow, income plateaus, ideas dim, not out of punishment, but resonance. A stagnant vessel resonates with stagnant outcomes. And you may now recognize moments in your own life when this happened, not because you failed, but because you paused in a place where pausing allowed something precious to slip through your fingers. A call you didn't return, a bill you didn't address, a chance you thought would come again. Prosperity is a river. When you step back from its edge, even slightly, the current moves past you. But don't mistake this truth for condemnation. It is an invitation. The wallet teaches not through guilt, but through clarity. It shows you what you've left unattended so you can return to it with strength. It reveals the small leaks before they become great losses. And yet, as powerful as this lesson is, it still isn't the most dangerous mistake tied to this daily object. There is one more, deeper, darker, wrapped in a familiar lie. The third mistake hides behind a phrase nearly everyone uses, a phrase that quietly sabotages growth the moment it's spoken. The third mistake is the most dangerous of all because it is born from a lie, a soft, familiar lie spoken so often it begins to feel like truth. It is the quiet declaration, "Everything is fine." These words slip from the tongue with ease, yet in Jewish wisdom, they are spiritually hazardous. Not because optimism is wrong, but because false completion stops growth. When you say everything is fine while your vessel is cluttered, your finances disordered, your intentions unfocused, you signal to the universe that no expansion is needed. And Shefa, the divine flow, responds precisely to the message you send. The lie is seductive. It comforts the ego. It shields you from taking responsibility for what feels overwhelming. It allows you to ignore the clutter in your wallet, the unanswered questions in your finances, the unresolved emotions around money. But spiritually, pretending creates paralysis. A wallet filled with dead weight becomes a physical embodiment of this lie. The outside says, "I'm okay," while the inside whispers, "I'm stuck." Jewish teaching holds truth, emet, as the foundation of blessing. Emet is not brutal honesty, it is aligned honesty. The honesty that opens doors rather than slamming them. When you declare false completion, you break that alignment. You step out of resonance with growth. And when you step out of resonance, opportunities that once moved towards you begin to drift away. Science mirrors this wisdom. A study conducted in Israel found that individuals who repeatedly used phrases of false reassurance around their finances, statements like, "It's fine, everything is fine," experienced on average a 12% decline in income over time. Not because the words were magical, but because the psychology behind them created stagnation. Their brains registered no need for adaptation, no need for action, no need for problem solving. The result was a subtle yet measurable downward spiral. So when your wallet is crowded with expired cards, crumpled receipts, and fragments of abandoned tasks, it tells a deeper story. Not only have you paused movement, but you've convinced yourself that the pause is harmless. That is the lie. That is the fracture in the vessel. And unless acknowledged, it keeps you standing in the same place, holding the same patterns, repeating the same quiet decline. But here is the turning point, the place where this teaching shifts from warning to possibility. Because while lies paralyze, truth liberates. And the truth is simple.
Everything is not fine. Everything is capable of becoming better. The wallet can be renewed. The vessel can be cleared. The flow can reopen. And once you grasp that your words shape your world, that your vessel reflects your readiness, that your smallest habits signal your future, something powerful begins to happen. You reclaim authorship over your prosperity. Because the moment you stop saying everything is fine and begin speaking with intention, you unlock a principle older than memory itself, one that reveals a simple formula capable of reopening the gates of abundance. Now that the lie has been exposed, we step into the turning point, the moment where the vessel is not only cleared, but consciously reshaped. That wisdom teaches that renewal begins not with action, but with declaration. Words create worlds, where right words, spoken with aligned intention, reopen channels that may have been closed for years. That is why this chapter brings you a simple three-part formula, a sequence of purpose that transforms your wallet from a stagnant container into a living vessel of blessing. The formula is this: gratitude, order, expansion. 3 words, each carrying a weight older than memory, each holding a key to shifting the energy of your finances. Gratitude is the beginning. When you look at your wallet, not with frustration, not with shame, but with appreciation, you activate the first gate of Shefa. Gratitude tells the universe, I recognize the flow that has already touched my life. It softens the heart, quiets the ego, and invites more. A vessel blessed with gratitude becomes magnetic. Order follows naturally. Order is not merely tidiness, it is alignment. When you remove receipts that no longer speak, when you discard expired cards, when you reduce your wallet to only what is alive and necessary, you tell creation, I am making space. And space is the language abundance understands. Order transforms your wallet into a vessel that is ready, ready to hold, ready to receive, ready to circulate. Then comes expansion. Expansion is not greed, it is intention. It is the quiet claim, I am here to grow. When you speak expansion into your vessel, you break the spell of the lie, the paralysis of pretending. You step into the rhythm of movement again. Expansion is the soul's way of whispering to the universe that you are prepared for greater responsibility and greater blessing. To seal this practice, create a daily ritual. Set an alarm, choose 9 o'clock, morning or night, and when it rings, speak the formula aloud. Gratitude, order, expansion. Say it slowly, as if clearing dust from the inner chambers of your financial spirit. This small act reshapes pathways within you. Neuroscientists call it anchoring. The sages call it kavana, intentional alignment. And now, the practical step. Empty your wallet. Not in chaos, not in haste, but in reverence. Lay everything on a table. Touch each item. Ask, does this carry life or does it carry the past? Whatever carries the past, release. Whatever carries life, keep with clarity. You are not cleaning an object, you are renewing a vessel. When your wallet breathes again, lighter, clearer, open, you will feel something shift. A sense of direction where there was fog. A sense of movement where there was heaviness. And this movement, once awakened, does not stay confined to a wallet. It ripples outward into decisions, opportunities, and moments of unexpected blessing. But you do not need to take my word for it. There are those who have lived this transformation, whose stories reveal how a simple act of clearing a vessel sparked changes they once believed impossible. I want to tell you about a woman named Luzia, though everyone in her community called her Dona Luzia. She lived a quiet life, marked by small responsibilities and large worries, especially when it came to money. Month after month, she felt as if prosperity hovered just outside her reach, close enough to sense, but never close enough to touch. She worked hard, she prayed sincerely, yet something in her life remained stuck, held in place by an invisible weight she could not name. One evening, after listening to a teaching much like the one you're hearing now, she sat down at her kitchen table with her old wallet, a faded, swollen thing, packed tightly with scraps of her past, receipts from years ago, old identity cards she no more.
One evening, after listening to a teaching much like the one you're hearing now, she sat down at her kitchen table with her old wallet, a faded, swollen thing, packed tightly with scraps of her past, receipts from years ago, old identity cards she no longer used, business cards from people she couldn't remember, even a folded grocery list whose ink had nearly vanished. She stared at it for a long moment, realizing that it looked exactly how she felt inside, overcrowded, exhausted, and buried under unfinished stories. For the first time, she understood the teaching of the vessel. She spoke softly to herself, almost in disbelief. How can I receive anything new if I'm carrying all of this? So she began, slowly, carefully, almost reverently. One by one, she removed every fragment of paper, separating the living from the dead. She kept only what served her and thanked the rest before releasing it. When she finished, her wallet felt lighter, physically, emotionally, spiritually. She didn't know it yet, but something had shifted. Within 7 days, 7, that sacred number of completion, unexpected changes began appearing in her life. A neighbor offered her a part-time cleaning job with better pay. A distant cousin returned a small loan she had forgotten he owed her. And at the local market, she won a modest raffle prize that helped her cover her monthly expenses. None of these events were miracles, yet together they formed a pattern she could not ignore. Her vessel had been renewed, and the flow responded. Before and after, her life became a quiet testimony to this principle. Before, scarcity, stagnation, constant pressure. After, clarity, better opportunities, a sense of possibility. She began treating her wallet with respect, opening it only with intention, maintaining order, speaking the 3-part formula: gratitude, order, expansion. Her finances didn't transform overnight, but her relationship with them did, and that shift altered everything. Her story is not unique, it is universal. It is what happens when a vessel, whether physical or emotional, is returned to alignment. You see, this principle does not belong to one faith, one tradition, or one people. It is woven into the spiritual fabric of human experience. What you carry reflects what you are ready to receive. What you release creates room for what is coming. And whether you call it Shifa, energy, or blessing, the flow moves the same for all who prepare their vessel to hold it. And now that you've seen how others have transformed their lives with this teaching, we step into the heart of its philosophy, a reminder that words and order are not merely habits, but forces that shape the architecture of your destiny. Jewish philosophy teaches something both simple and astonishing. Words create worlds, and order creates flow. This is not metaphor, it is architecture. In the opening verses of creation, God speaks and reality arranges itself around the sound. That pattern was not meant to remain divine alone. It was a blueprint for how human beings shape their own existence. When you speak with intention, you sculpt possibility. When you create order, you invite movement. And when your vessel, your wallet, your mind, your habits reflects clarity, the world mirrors that clarity back to you. Everything we have explored so far returns to this central truth. Abundance is not only about money. It is about structure. It is about alignment. It is about whether your inner world is prepared to hold what you are asking for. The sages often said that blessing does not enter chaos. Not because blessing is selective, but because chaos leaks. A vessel without structure cannot retain the shefa that tries to pour into it. So take a moment to see the pattern now. The cluttered wallet from earlier chapters represented more than disorder. It represented a worldview, a belief that the past must travel with you, a belief that pretending is easier than confronting, a belief that progress continues without participation. But when you cleared that vessel, whether literally, mentally, or in intention,
You performed a symbolic act of creation. You separated the old from the new. You made space. You returned order to a place that had forgotten it. And in Jewish thought, order is a spiritual magnet. The moment you align your vessel, even in small ways, the universe begins responding. This isn't magic, it's resonance. A clean vessel resonates with possibility. A disciplined vessel resonates with responsibility. A grateful vessel resonates with generosity. And abundance is drawn irresistibly to these frequencies. Now the choice stands before you with remarkable clarity. You can continue carrying the weight of habits that no longer serve you, allowing your financial life to echo the same patterns again and again. Or you can choose growth, not dramatic, not desperate, but intentional. A choice made quietly, the way all meaningful choices are made. A choice that whispers, I am ready for more because I am ready to become more. If you test this teaching for 7 days, just 7, you will feel its truth. Keep your wallet organized. Remove dead weight daily. Declare gratitude. Order expansion. Observe how your decisions sharpen. Notice how opportunities feel closer. Pay attention to the subtle changes in your posture toward money. These shifts may seem small, but they accumulate like drops of water filling a vessel, until one day you look inside and realize it is no longer empty. And as this chapter reaches its end, something else emerges, something that deepens every teaching you've heard so far. Because while the vessel matters and the words matter, there is a force even more powerful than both. A principle so old it predates language itself, and yet so intimate it lives quietly within you, waiting to be awakened. In the end, everything we have explored returns to a single truth. Your words and your vessel are reflections of your readiness, and readiness is what shapes destiny. The teaching is simple, but its power is immense. Never again say everything is fine. Those words freeze growth. Instead, declare, I am growing, I am opening, I am becoming. This shift, subtle yet profound, realigns your path with the flow of abundance that has always been waiting for you. Think back to the wallet, the symbol, the mirror, the vessel. What was once a cluttered archive of forgotten moments has now become a living space, a sanctuary for your financial energy. When you open it today, it carries a different vibration. You feel the difference not because the object changed on its own, but because you changed in relation to it. Your presence is clearer. Your intention is stronger. Your relationship with receiving has been rewritten from the inside out. And this is the essence of the teaching. Prosperity is not an event. It is a posture. A way of standing before the universe with honesty, gratitude, and expansion. Jewish wisdom teaches that blessing descends upon those who prepare room for it, not through force, not through desperation, but through alignment. When you say, I am growing, you speak creation into motion. When you keep your vessel clean, you allow that creation to land. Before you step forward from this moment, take a breath and let the message settle into your spirit. You are not asking for abundance. You are becoming someone who can hold it. That is the greatest shift of all. And as you move into the coming days, let this phrase become your compass. I am open to receive more. Speak it softly. Speak it steadily. Speak it until it feels like the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Now, as tradition calls for, I offer you a blessing, a sacred closing to seal the teaching you have just absorbed. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord shine his light upon you and grant you grace. May the Lord lift his face towards you and give you peace. May your vessel remain clear, your path remain open, and your hands receive only what elevates your life. May abundance approach you with ease, and may wisdom guide you with gentleness. And finally, a request, not for me, but for the world around you. If this teaching touched you, share it with 3 people who may be silently carrying the weight of financial stagnation. Let them discover, as you did, that sometimes the smallest vessel holds the largest truth, And the smallest shift creates the greatest opening. You are walking with clarity now. Go forward with intention, for abundance follows those who make space for it.